In the heart of southeastern Nigeria, near the lush lands of Idemili, there flowed a river so wide and deep that villagers often said it had no end. They called it mermaid, the water of life. Fishermen whispered that spirits lived beneath it, spirits older than the oldest trees, with eyes bright as the moon and voices that could draw even the bravest man into its depths. For years, the villagers feared and respected the river. No one went there after sunset. But in this new age of phones, fame, and followers, fear had become a weaker thing. And one woman, beautiful and ambitious, would test that boundary. Her name was Adanna, a 24-year-old content creator with a body that drew eyes wherever she walked. She was the pride of her village and the envy of many: slim waist, full hips, flawless dark skin that glowed like oiled bronze. Her social media name was Adanna the Explorer, and she was known for daring videos, exploring sacred forests, climbing forbidden hills, and interviewing aged priests. But lately, her fame was fading. New creators had taken over. Her views were dropping. Her sponsorships were slowing. Each night she scrolled through her phone, heart heavy, whispering, "I need something big, something no one has ever captured." One evening, while visiting her grandmother, merman came. She overheard the old woman telling children a story about the male water spirit of Idemili, the mummy water's husband, they said, who bathed in the river every full moon. Merman said, "They call him Idemili, the heart of the water. His skin is golden like morning sun, his hair like flowing waves. Many women have seen him in dreams, but if you see him with your waking eyes, you will never be the same." Adanna's eyes lit up. That was it. That was her chance to revive her channel. The next morning, Adanna packed her camera, tripod, and drone. She wrapped a white cloth tightly around her chest and waist, like the village maidens did, and adorned her neck and hair with coral beads. Her best friend, Ngozi, tried to stop her. "Adanna, that river is not for play. Merman told us the spirit guards it jealously." "Ngozi," Adanna laughed, adjusting her beads, "it's just a story to keep women afraid. Watch, when I upload this video, I hit 1 million views." She left before sunrise. The riverbank was breathtaking, mist rolled off the surface like smoke, birds called from the forest, and the scent of wet earth filled the air. Adanna set up her camera near the edge, whispering to herself, "Today, the world will see what no one has seen before." Hours passed. The sun climbed high. Just when she was about to give up, the water began to ripple. At first, she thought it was a fish. Then, a head emerged, a man's head. Skin glowing faintly gold, hair dark as night, shoulders broad and powerful. He rose from the water waist deep, his eyes gleaming like blue glass. Adanna froze. Her camera rolled. The figure looked directly at her, and his lips moved, though she heard no sound. The air thickened. The birds went silent. The leaves trembled as if fearing what they saw. Then he smiled. Adanna's heart raced, but her curiosity was stronger than her fear. She whispered, "You're real. I knew it." The spirit tilted his head, water cascading from his hair like liquid light. Then he spoke, his voice deep and melodic, carrying like a drumbeat through the valley. "Why do you watch me, child of dust?" Adanna steadied her camera. "I just want to show the world who you are," she said softly. "The world," he echoed. "Does the world feed you? Does it love you?" His eyes pierced into her soul. She tried to look away but couldn't. It was as though invisible hands held her gaze still. "You seek glory," he said, moving closer to the bank. "But every glory taken from the gods carries a price." The water began to swirl around his waist. "Go home," he warned, "before the river remembers you." But Adanna stepped closer, still recording. "Please, just one clear shot of your face," she begged. He smiled faintly, then extended his hand toward her. "Then take it," he whispered. Adanna thought it was a trick of the light, but his hand grew longer, the water stretching with it. Before she could step back, his fingers wrapped around her wrist, ice cold, smooth, and powerful. She gasped. Her camera tumbled to the ground, still filming. "Let me go," she cried, struggling. But his grip only tightened, pulling her closer to the river. Her feet slid through the wet sand, her body trembling. "You came for me," he said gently, "now you belong to me." "No. Please," she screamed. "I only wanted to steal the face of the river," he interrupted. "Then the river shall take yours." The current rose like a serpent, wrapping around her legs, dragging her forward. She dug her nails into the earth, screaming for help, but the forest echoed only her own voice. Within seconds, the water swallowed her whole. By nightfall, Ngozi grew worried and went searching. She found Adanna's camera half buried in the sand, still recording the empty ripples of the river. Her friend was gone. No footprints led away from the shore. The villagers gathered torches and searched until dawn, calling her name again and again. But they found nothing except her coral beads floating near the reeds. Merman wept softly. "She went to chase a spirit," she said, "and the spirit has claimed her." They performed rites by the river for 3 days, offering kola and palm wine, praying that her spirit would find rest. But that night, fishermen swore they heard a woman's voice singing beneath the water, soft and haunting, echoing through the mist. Weeks passed. One moonlit night, Ngozi returned to the river alone. The water shimmered like glass. As she stood by the bank, she saw something move beneath the surface, long hair flowing, beads glowing faintly in the dark. Then she saw her. Adanna. Her eyes were calm, her skin pale and radiant, her body gliding gracefully beneath the water like a spirit reborn. She smiled faintly at Ngozi and whispered, though no sound came from her lips. "Tell them I found my fame." Then she vanished into the depths. Months had passed since Adanna vanished into the waters of Mirindu. The villagers tried to forget, but the river would not let them. At night, strange things began to happen. The fishermen's nets came up heavy with shells instead of fish. Drums heard in the distance would echo back with soft feminine laughter. And every full moon, a faint glow shimmered on the surface of the water, like moonlight trapped beneath the waves. Old women whispered, "Adanna is not dead. The river keeps her alive." Children were warned never to wander near the water, but curiosity has always been the cousin of trouble. Adanna's best friend, Ngozi, had not slept peacefully since that day. Each night, she dreamed of Adanna standing waist-deep in the river, her wrapper floating like mist, her beads glowing faintly. Her voice, calm and sad, would say, "Ngozi, I am not gone. Help me, before the river seals my soul forever." Every time Ngozi tried to reach her, a great wave would rise and separate them. She would wake up crying, heart pounding, her bedsheet soaked with sweat. By the third dream, she could no longer ignore it. She went to see Merman, Adanna's grandmother. The old woman's eyes were clouded but sharp with wisdom. She listened quietly and said, "The river spirit has claimed her, but your dreams mean she is not yet fully lost. There is a way, but it carries danger." Ngozi leaned forward. "Tell me, Mama. I will do anything." The old woman sighed deeply. "If you go to the river on the next full moon and call her name 3 times, she will come. But beware, child, what answers you may not be your friend anymore." On the night of the full moon, the air was thick and humid. Frogs croaked in the distance, and fireflies blinked like tiny spirits watching from the dark. Ngozi wore a wire wrapper tied palm fronds around her waist for protection, and carried a calabash filled with palm oil and cowries, offerings for the spirit. When she reached the river bank, the water was calm, too calm, as though waiting. She knelt, poured out the offerings, and whispered, "Adanna. Adanna. Adanna." The ripple spread outward in perfect circles. Then a soft voice replied, "Ngozi." Ngozi froze. The voice came from the middle of the river. Slowly, Adanna emerged, half woman, half water, her eyes glowing faintly blue. Her once beautiful face was serene, but her smile was cold. Coral beads glistened around her neck like drops of frozen blood. "You called me," Adanna said softly. "I miss you," Ngozi whispered. "I came to bring you home." Adanna tilted her head. "Home? My home is here now." The water around her shimmered. Beneath it, shadows moved, other spirits, watching silently. But you begged me for help, Ngozi said. Adanna's expression flickered. Yes, but it's too late. He won't let me go. Who? Idemili, she said, eyes turning toward the deep water. He hears everything. Run, before he wakes. Before Ngozi could respond, the river began to churn violently. The calm surface turned into waves. The same golden-skinned merman rose from the depths, his face darker now, his eyes burning like hot embers. You dare summon her away from me, he thundered. You mortals never learn. He stretched out his hand, and the wind howled through the trees. Ngozi fell backward, clutching the sand. Adanna turned toward him, pleading. Please, let her go. She is my sister. But the merman's voice echoed like thunder. Then she shall join you. In desperation, Ngozi cried out. I offer myself. Spare her. The river fell silent. Even the crickets stopped singing. Idemili looked at her, curious. You would give your breath for hers. Ngozi nodded. She was my blood in friendship. Take me if you must. The spirit smiled, a slow, terrible smile. You are brave. Bravery has value even among spirits. I will spare your life, mortal, but you will carry my mark. Before she could ask what he meant, a single drop of glowing water rose from the river and landed on her forehead. It burned like fire. She screamed, then fainted. When she awoke, it was morning. The river was calm again, and Adanna was gone. Ngozi staggered home. The villagers found her at dawn, lying near the path, her eyes glassy, her body cold. But she lived. However, a strange blue mark now glowed faintly on her forehead, shaped like a drop of water. She tried to forget, but the mark paused each night, especially when she passed by any body of water. She could hear faint singing in her head, the same haunting voice of Adanna calling from beneath the river. Then, one evening, she saw her reflection in a basin of water, only it wasn't her face. It was Adanna's, smiling sadly. Ngozi screamed and overturned the basin, but the water crawled along the ground like a living thing, wrapping around her feet. A whisper came. Sister, we are bound now. My spirit cannot rest until he claims another. Ngozi fell to her knees, trembling. No, Adanna. Don't do this. But the voice replied softly. It's not me anymore, Ngozi. The river speaks through me. From that night onward, strange events plagued the village. A young woman who washed clothes near the river vanished. Another who tried to fetch water after dusk returned home soaked and muttering in her sleep, her eyes glazed. People began to avoid the river entirely, fetching water from wells far away. The village priest, Dibia Okoro, performed rituals and threw cowries, his brow furrowed. The spirit of the girl and the merman are now one, he said. She is his bride, and his weapon. The river will not rest until balance is restored. Merman wept again. What balance, Dibia? The priest looked toward the river and whispered. A soul taken willingly must be returned by another willing soul. Ngozi could bear it no more. Each night, she heard the river calling louder, promising peace if she returned. Her body grew weaker, her mark brighter. On the eve of another full moon, she walked to the riverbank wearing white. The villagers tried to stop her, but she moved like someone in a trance. Ngozi, they shouted. Stay back, she said softly. It's my turn to set her free. As she stepped into the water, it shimmered warmly around her feet. Then she looked up, and Adanna appeared again, smiling, eyes clearer now. Ngozi, you came. I told you I would, Ngozi whispered. Let's go home. The merman rose behind Adanna, his expression unreadable. She comes willingly, Adanna said. Now free us both. For the first time, the merman's voice softened. So be it. He raised his hand, and the water glowed with blinding light. The river roared, wind whipping through the trees. The villagers watching from afar fell to their knees. When the light faded, both women were gone. Only two strings of coral beads floated on the surface, crossing each other gently before sinking out of sight. To this day, the people of Idemili say that the river sometimes shimmers with the reflection of a woman holding a camera made of water. They warn their daughters not to seek fame in forbidden places, for the gods guard their secrets fiercely. They say every full moon, the male merman still rises to bathe, and beside him floats a beautiful maiden with coral beads and a white wrapper, her eyes fixed forever on the world she once tried to film. And if you stand too close to the bank, she might reach for your hand, offering you fame that ends where the river begins. The eyes that seek glory among spirits may never again see the light of men. In every age, some boundaries remain sacred. Cross them, and you may find your name written only in whispers beneath the water. Years later, people said the river of Idemili changed. It no longer took lives. The water ran clearer. Fishermen returned. But on certain nights, the villagers swore they could see two women standing just beneath the surface, one with flowing hair, the other with a faint blue mark on her forehead. They said the river had gained new guardians, the sisters of the water, who protected women that came with pure hearts, and punished those who came chasing vanity or greed. And so the legend of Adanna and Gozi, the twin spirits of Idemili, lived on, one born of ambition, the other of love. Their tale became a warning to all who sought fame from sacred things. Fame fades, but the river remembers. Moral of the story: when love tries to rescue what pride has lost, the spirits will listen. But the price of disturbing the water is never truly washed away.